Trump officials' comments on retirement savings spark major backlash. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent's recent comments on Americans' retirement savings have ignited a strong public outcry, particularly after he suggested that most Americans are not concerned with the day-to-day fluctuations of their retirement accounts. These remarks, made during a Sunday morning interview on NBC's Meet the Press, have drawn sharp criticism from both political figures and everyday Americans alike, highlighting a perceived disconnect between Bessent's wealth and the financial struggles of average citizens. Context and background. The controversy surrounding Bessent's comments comes amid a period of economic uncertainty spurred by President Donald Trump's decision to implement new tariffs. Last week, Trump announced sweeping tariffs, including a universal 10% tax on all imports, as part of what he dubbed Liberation Day. This move also saw tariffs on many countries raised to over 40%. The immediate fallout from this announcement caused a sharp decline in the stock market, which had a direct effect on Americans' pensions and retirement funds, particularly 401k accounts. On 2 consecutive days, the Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped more than 1,500 points, a historic first. By Friday, the index had plunged over 2,200 points, adding to a broader wave of financial instability that many Americans are now facing. The interview. Bessent's remarks. During his appearance on Meet the Press, hosted by Kristen Welker, Bessent was questioned about the economic consequences of the tariffs and how these policies might affect ordinary Americans, especially those nearing retirement. Welker pointed out that President Trump had promised to improve the economy, lower prices, and help middle-class Americans. Yet, the tariffs seem to be doing the opposite, especially for the 160 million Americans invested in the market, many of whom have dedicated their lives to saving for retirement. In response, Bessent dismissed the notion that Americans are overly concerned with their investments' daily fluctuations. "I think that's a false narrative," he said. He argued that most people have a long-term perspective on their 401k investments and do not track day-to-day market changes. In fact, most Americans don't have everything in the market. Most Americans in a 401k have what's called a 60-40 account. 60-40 accounts are down 5 or 6% on the year. People have a long-term view, Bessent explained. This statement has been widely criticized for appearing tone-deaf to the reality faced by millions of American workers whose savings are being directly impacted by the market downturn. Public response and backlash. Bessent's comments quickly sparked backlash on social media. Many critics noted the vast difference between his wealth, estimated at over $700 million, and the financial struggles of ordinary Americans. Neera Tanden, a political figure and former Biden administration official, posted on X, formerly Twitter, pointing out that Bessent's remarks seemed as out of touch as Marie Antoinette's famous "let them eat cake" comment. Matt McDermott, a Democratic strategist, emphasized Bessent's vast wealth, noting that the Treasury Secretary had lived in a $22 million mansion while downplaying the economic pain being felt by everyday Americans. MSNBC host Lawrence O'Donnell also criticized Bessent, calling him the stupidest Treasury Secretary in history. Bill Kristol, a conservative writer, suggested that Democrats should invite Bessent and other top Trump administration officials to television shows instead of their usual political opponents, as they seem to do more damage to Trump's image than his critics. Other comments highlighted the broader frustration with the Trump administration's policies, with some people calling for a complete boycott of any interviews with Trump representatives. They provide no answers, they lie indiscriminately, and have no shame about either, wrote author Dane Rauschenberg. What happens next? Despite the criticism, Trump and his administration continue to defend the tariffs, claiming they will ultimately benefit the U.S. economy, even if there are some short-term disruptions. Trading partners have begun to respond with retaliatory measures, while others are attempting to negotiate with the U.S. government in hopes of reducing the tariffs. In a post on Truth Social, Trump doubled down on his stance, stating, "This is an economic revolution, and we will win. Hang tough, it won't be easy, but the end result will be historic. We will make America great again."